Okay, so last year in January 2020, I created this tower defense simulator game completely from scratch, but I didn't do anything with it. I was planning to either release it as a game and I was just making it for fun, or maybe even as a tutorial, and I kind of just left it to sit in my Roblox account doing nothing. And I thought it would be great to do a video showing how I made this game so you can see how they work, and maybe in the future I'll do a tutorial series on how to recreate this. So let me show you how the game works. Let's just go and load in here. So if you haven't played Tower Defense Simulator, the aim is that you get waves of zombies here, and you have to place down fighters to kill them. So if I place down my little fighter over here, he's going to just start shooting the zombies, and hopefully the wave will be cleared. And if we do let any zombies get over here to our little bank area, this is kind of like our city, I guess. We don't want them to get over here because our health of our city will start to be destroyed and we'll lose the game. So you have to place down these fighters and they will attack the zombies. You can see we're already starting to lose a bit of health there. So I'm just going to place down a load of fighters because every new wave which appears brings tougher zombies, more zombies, faster zombies, etc. So we've got two zombie types in the game. They're just default NPCs for now, but you can definitely customize them. You can have all sorts of different maps. I've only got one map here. And this is basically it. This is the game. Once you get to maybe wave 9 or 10, the zombies will be very fast. They'll come in hordes of very, very powerful zombies. You'll get bosses, which eventually you will need a lot of fighters in order to defeat them. But the game isn't too advanced. I mean, usually in a tower defense game, you have to actually pay money to spawn these fighters, but I can have as many as I want here. So let's just go and spawn a load and I'll come back to you when I've got a massive army of them. Alright, I'm nearly dead over here, so we need to get a load of new units in over here before the next wave of zombies arrive, because this is going to be a very powerful wave. I think if we let any zombies get to the end here, we're going to be dead. So here we go, here come the zombies, and yeah, they're way too powerful for us, and we were defeated. Game over. But you can see how the game works. It's working pretty well. We've got the zombies moving along the path, and I'm happy with it. So let me dive in and show you how this game works. So first of all, I created my zombies and I put them in this folder. Then I created a module which uses object-oriented programming, so I can create a function which spawns a zombie and sets up the zombie with their character, gives them a specific name, and sets their properties such as their health, etc. And then what I do is I spawn the zombie and move them to the spawn point, which is actually over here. Now, if we have a look at this invisible part, you can see I've got my paths here. So I've got path 1, path 2, path 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all numbered. And each path has a starting node. Well, we have a starting node for this first path, and we have an end node over here. So I'm making two positions where you can form a straight line for the zombies to walk on. So the zombie's going to spawn over here and they're going to walk to the end node, and when they get to this node here, they're going to move to this one, and then they're going to move to this one. So you can see how they move across the path over here to get to the exit. So what we do is we have our enemy module here which spawns the zombie, and then we have this move function which loops through all of those paths, those numbered paths, and it will move the NPC, the enemy, to the end node's position, and then we'll wait until they get to that position, and then we'll go again to the next one. And eventually, when they get over here to the finish line, we will detect when they get to the final node, and when they do, we'll subtract some health off our base's total over here. So when they break out of this for loop, they must have got to the end of the path. So we'll see, okay, is the base still alive? Have we still got some health? And if we have, we're going to damage it by a certain amount that the zombie damages. And that's why I decided to use object-oriented programming, because we can set different damage values for different zombies. So we could have a dumb zombie which only does 100 damage, or you could have a super boss zombie which does 100,000 damage. And so by saying self.damage, I can access that damage property which is assigned to each individual zombie. And if we go over to our other script here, you can see in the main script I've actually got a massive dictionary table of the different waves. So we've got wave 1, and in the first wave I'm going to spawn 2 dumb zombies. They're going to have a delay of 2 seconds in releasing them, and they're going to have 4 walk speed, and the damage that they're going to give is 250. So each time they get to the end, it's going to take 250 off our total. But you can see as we progress down to wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5, 6, 7, and 8, you can see on wave 7, they do 30,000 damage. So that's why towards the end of when I was playing the game, they were doing more damage to my base. And then we have a little event over here, which detects when the base's health changes. And when that does, we just will check to see if it's less than 0. And if it is, then we're going to set a variable to say that the game is over. And we can check if it is true when we start the next wave, and it will stop that from happening. So this is the main game loop. So every new wave, we're just looping through this massive table of waves here. And then we're getting the number of zombies from this table here. And then we're going to spawn each individual zombie over here. And then we will just wait in this little loop to make sure that there are no zombies left. If the enemies have all been defeated, then we can move on to the next wave. But if they haven't, then the game is over. But if we get to the end of the waves, because we've only got 8 waves, so once we get to the end of the waves, we finish this final one, we're going to get to this part of the code, and it's going to say if your base health is still above 0, then you win the game. And we can fire a little event which will show something on the screen to say, congratulations, you win. Now let me show you how I made the fighters, which you can actually place down using your mouse. So firstly, I created a database which gives information about all of the different fighters which you can use. So I just list them in this table, each individual one. It has a cost, although it doesn't actually take that cost from your balance. All of the fighters are free at the minute, but I was going to add that in a future update. I didn't get around to it. But I just put all of my fighters in here, and I have a reference to where they're located in the game. So in replicated storage, I have all of my fighters in here. And then I have a script in the starter GUI, which actually handles the placing of those fighters. So we've got the GUI, which will load in all of those fighters when the player joins the game, when this event is fired. And then for each individual fighter, when we click the fighter, then we will have a mouse connection here, which when you move the mouse, it finds the C frame of where your mouse is on the floor. So it will get your mouse position, and it will just do some calculations here to make sure that the fighter is placed on top of the floor, and it will move the fighter around with your mouse. And then when you click the mouse, it's going to fire off to the server. It's going to tell it to place the fighter down, and then when the fighter is placed, it's going to start attacking the zombies. So just like the zombies had their own damage property, each individual fighter can do different damage to counter the zombies and help to beat them. Then we've got some code over here which just changes the GUI bar at the top every time your health changes, and if it's under 75%, then it will change to amber. If it's under 50%, it will go to orange, and then obviously if you're low on health at under 25%, it will turn red. And this code here just tweens it, and if you lose the game, it will say game over. And here is the object-oriented code for the fighters. So just like the enemies, we create a function which individually will make the fighter, and it will assign a level, a damage. It will create the character and position it and animate it. I created an animation which I load into the fighter, so it looks like it's holding the gun and firing the gun. And then I have a function which actually attacks an individual enemy. So what we'll do is we find the closest zombie to the fighter, because we want to attack the one that's closest to that fighter. So that's why you've got to be tactical in where you place them. If you place them near the start, then you're going to be attacking the zombies as they come out of the spawn. So this function here will find the closest enemy to that fighter. It will return it, and then we have another function which we use to attack it and to damage it. And I was actually going to create some more functions which find the most powerful zombie, so you could attack just the most powerful one. And it's all about tactics. So in a tower defense game, you've got to be tactical in where you place them and which zombies you decide to attack. Then we also have some values in replicated storage which I update on the server, just so that we can tell the clients the health of the base, what current wave we're in, etc. So you can easily access that from GUIs. But that's pretty much it, and this is just kind of a great example of why you should use object-oriented programming in certain projects. Not every single project, but it allows you to have individual classes for things. So you can have a class for your fighters and a class for your enemies, and you can track individual enemies which you spawn and keep them all in one place, so you know all of the fighters that you have spawned. It's just a great way to organize your code. So hopefully this gives you an insight into how a tower defense game works, and let me know if you want to see a tutorial series on this. I can't promise anything, but I'll definitely look into making a series on this. I know it's a very popular topic, so leave a like if you enjoyed it to let me know you want to see that. Drop a comment if you have any questions or anything you want me to answer, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll also leave a link to this game as well in the description so you can go check it out for yourself. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Cheers.